Yo, what's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz5, and right now I'm looking at the patch notes for the latest PUBG update on the PC. This is update number 28, and occasionally I do play on PC, but I'm a console player, so I don't always cover the updates on PC, but this is a big one, and I figured I would share my opinion on it and go through it. A little rundown here, discussion, and also for us console players out there, I'm really excited for this update because with this one, they've actually gone back and they're kind of fixing a few things from update number 27. So I'm hoping that by the time this gets to console, we can just maybe like leapfrog over number 27. That's kind of what they do for console sometimes. We'll kind of fall behind a couple updates from PC and then they'll just put everything into place. Like for example, we got the snow bike like round 1 on console when they had to take it back on PC because of issues. So I'm hoping that this kind of helps streamline that process, and I really like that they're tweaking a lot of things, and this is a pretty big update. So I got the patch over here on my screen, so I'll be looking back and forth, and it is springtime, so we got some lawnmowers out there in the background. Hopefully you guys don't hear them and that doesn't ruin the audio of this video. So let's start this off. Patch number 28 coming on the back of the announcement of weapon masteries, and I just recorded this video yesterday. So if you guys want to look more in depth on the weapon mastery system, I'll link that video down in the description box below. You guys can just click on that or just search it or just check it out yourselves. But this is like a whole nother thing in itself, so I'm going to skip over that because this makes the patch update a little bit longer. So let's get into the changes of the actual game itself. So on PC, they already had the first round of Erangel loot rebalances. They upped the loot a little bit, and I guess after testing, they decided that that wasn't enough. But these are some pretty big changes coming into Erangel loot-wise, so I'm a little apprehensive here to see these huge numbers, but I'm sure they've done some testing. This might be a little heavy-handed, but they could always pull it back and keep, kind of going back and forth until they hit that right amount if that works for them. So they said, as we spoke about in our previous dev letter, they're rebalancing Erangel. So here they've said that the total amount of items spawned in Erangel has been increased by approximately 28%. So I think the first increase was around 40%, and I think they're doing an additional 28% here, if I'm reading that correctly. And then you can see the individual weapon categories, what's being increased here. So AR has been increased by 64%, DMRs by 114%, and then this is the one I'm like, I think this might be a little too much. Sniper rifles have been increased, have been increased by 117%. That's a lot, but then again, I really don't find that many snipers on Erangel, but increasing it by 177% is a lot, so I'll have to see how that goes. And then they changed the spawn rate of equipment and armor have been slightly increased, especially level 2, which makes sense. You really want everyone to have like level 2 armor at like the end game, so everyone should be able to find that if they're looting. And spawn rates of healing items have been slightly increased, not significantly, slightly, which to me makes sense. You don't want people running around with too much health. It's got to be you got to get excited when you find those painkillers and med kits and stuff like that. They're also doing a change to the Erangel blue zone, but they haven't really mentioned what this is in this post. Just on the test server, it just looks like they're tweaking this. If I had to assume, I would guess that maybe they're speeding it up a little bit, or maybe changing how fast the blue zone comes in. Who really knows? It already kind of goes fast enough on Erangel. Be interested to see how they do this. Maybe a smaller circle. I always said that I think like this second circle should be a little bit smaller than how it is, or even the first circle on Erangel, just to get the gameplay moving a little bit after the initial looting phase, because it really slows down there in the mid game on Erangel, especially if you're playing in solos. So it'll be interesting to see what that's all about. The sniper rifle damage multiplier. They decreased the damage modifier of sniper rifle shots to torso from 150 to 130. So in the last patch or recently, they upped all the damage multipliers. So what happened here, what a lot of people were complaining about, is that the AWM could one-shot somebody to the chest with a level 2 vest. What they wanted to do here, at least from my understanding, is that a lot of times when I'm using sniper rifle or Kar 98, I'm hitting people like 2 or 3 times in the chest. They're not going down. It's frustrating. There was a time on the Candy one time where I hit someone 4 times. One of them must have been in the arm, but with level 3 gear, you can hit somebody so many times with a bolt action sniper and they don't get killed. So then again, they went a little heavy handed here, and they made it where the AWM, obviously known for being the strongest gun in the game, one shot headshot with any helmet, they made it where because of this damage multiplier, it would take out anybody one shot to the torso, even with a level 2 vest. So this might be maybe realistic in real life, because the AWM is a huge caliber rifle, and if you get hit with that thing, I think you're getting taken down. I feel like for the kind of parity of gameplay here, this is problematic because it can be pretty hard to find a level 3 vest. Odds are you're not going to find one in every single game you play. So then they get taken out by a huge torso shot area, chest shot, torso shot. And to have that whole area be a one-shot kill with the AWM is kind of game breaking. So they toned that down a little bit. So it will no longer kill full health players while wearing a level 2 vest. And I think that makes sense. Go for the head, you get the kill, and this will probably just dramatically damage them, and then you can just finish them off maybe with another AR shot, or you know, if they heal up and they're at 75% with a health pack, you might be able to hit them again and then take them out that way. And that to me seems a little bit more fair. Then they've done some sound improvements. Look at this update. So many things here. This is like a full-on update, everything across the board. I love this. So they're adding, this is like a small little thing, but from a like gameplay design, this is really cool from a game designer, and also just like, I don't know. This is just some small thing here that's really cool, and probably took them just a little extra time, but makes kind of a big difference. Every item now, when you drop something, when you're looting, it all have the same noise, and now that changes the noise just a little bit. Maybe not even something we'll notice, but stuff like that really just rounds the game out and makes it like a 2019 game. So they're adding sound effects to all that stuff. I don't know if I like over exaggerated that there, my hypeness for it, but seriously, stuff like that. The little things are sometimes what counts, you know, little things like that, because it looks like they're looking into all the details here. They added vehicle suspension sounds. A lot of people are probably going to complain, dude, we don't need suspension sounds. We need a stable game, which I get sometimes too when you guys say that. Smoke grenade improvement. This is awesome. Smoke grenades are now accurately synchronized across all players and observers. This is for custom modes when you're watching. They did a thing where now you can see when you're observing in a custom game how long the smoke grenade is going to last for, which is pretty cool. FYI, pro tip, smoke grenades last roughly 35 seconds after you throw them. They last a little bit longer than that, but the amount of time you have for the smoke to cover you is around 35 seconds. I made a test video about it on my page, and it takes about 7 seconds, excuse me, 7 seconds for the smoke to fill up the area and fill up enough smoke to cover you. So 7 seconds until you have stable cover, 33 to 40 seconds of cover in the smoke. So that's a long time. Use your smoke grenades. PSA, everybody. Vehicle effects improvement. So they're adding lighting effects to the vehicles, and when you get in, they're going to add where the dashboard turns on and the lights turn on, but this is just a local effect. It's not going to like appear outside. It's kind of like the laser. You see the laser, and I think sometimes your teammates see the laser, but enemies aren't really going to see the laser on the bottom of your gun. Again, small details here, really rounding out the game. This is like PUBG 2.0 almost, with having all this stuff tacked on and making it like a full-fledged game, almost like a AAA title status stuff going on here. Made some changes to Survivor Pass 3 Wildcard. I think this is more of an issue on PC. It's not even out on console, but some of the PC missions can be pretty difficult, so they're toning these down in both daily, weekly, and challenge missions, and that even includes removing some of the missions altogether because of their difficulty. So trying to make this easier for people to level up. And I agree. I mean, you want to make it kind of hard when not everybody makes it, but the majority of people that are trying should be able to get there and should be able to get these missions. So hopefully they figured that out. Then they have some UI UX overhaul here. This is something that was so interesting. When you look at a weapon, you can't inspect it. I mean, you can't zoom in on it in the menu system. So when you're going to buy a new skin, for example, a new Gorilla PP19 Bison skin came out on console, and I previewed it, and it's like this big. You're like, okay. So now, and you can't zoom in. So now they've added the option where you can zoom in on that and look at it. And, you know, it's funny because when when you're designing a game in the menu system, you're probably like, just, okay, we're designing this. We're going to have, if you hit this button, we preview it. All right, we can preview, we move on. And then people don't even realize, like, okay, now you have to code this, just this little section of the menu system where it actually can zoom in. So little things like that are just awesome. And then they're also improving, or adding, excuse me, the energy drinks to the teammate UI at the bottom left, your team. So now you can see their player, where they're, you know, if they're marking somewhere, and you can also see their health, and they're going to add a little yellow bar. Hopefully they can make this good enough for people who play on the OG Xbox, because the graphics are pretty bad on there, and it's going to need to be pretty big in order to see it. So hopefully this is visual on Xbox. Right now this is obviously just on PC, and this is a great thing because, especially if you're playing with people who don't communicate a lot, to know if they're actually healing up their health from 75 to 100 is important. Or if you're going into a battle, to know, like, all right, guys, boost up. And if they're not boosted up, you're like, hey, dude, come on, boost up. We're about to go into the final circle here. Shout out to the podcast. And you want to make sure that you're at 100% boost. Not only does it help you get a little health, it actually does improve your accuracy a little bit. So if you can do that before you're in a final battle, another tip there. And we have changes in display mode settings. This is just stuff for PC players for the windowed full screened options. Title thing, I think we can skip that. Custom match, they're improving this for custom matches when you get like a killing spree, dominating, unstoppable, all that stuff. And I've seen this a little bit on Xbox as well. They've added this to the custom games on Xbox. Not this exact thing, but it does say when you're unstoppable and on a kill streak. This to me is awesome. Little things like this, I love it. I would love to see this in the actual game, but I know it would take up probably too much of the visual space and people would get frustrated by that. But if this popped up somewhere top right hand corner in the actual live version of the game, I think this would be really, really cool. People will be pretty hyped about that. Oh, this was the smoke grenade thing I was talking about, where if you're spectating customs, you can see how long the smoke grenade is going to last for. They've added changes to the replay system, which that's only on PC. Skin and items, a new skin thing. They have the Face It Global Summit hoodie coming into the game. We got the 2nd year anniversary cap for PC and for console, so that's already in the game. And then a host of bug fixes coming down the board here and a lot of good stuff. So this is a full-on patch right after 27. I mean, this isn't that far apart. This is pretty solid, pretty quick to do this, and I think we're going to have a pretty eventful end of spring and summer of PUBG. For all of us console people out there, hopefully they can get this to us by the end of May, maybe early June. We've been kind of tagging along like a month behind, so I'd love to see us kind of catch up a little bit again soon, and very excited to see this come down to console. So as always, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.